Hey everyone, welcome to Queerly Recommended, the podcast where we recommend queer books, films, TV shows, and more. I'm Tara Scott, and I review sapphic fiction at the Lesbian Review and Smart Bitches Trashy Books. And this week, I'm recommending a recently released sapphic erotic romance.
And I'm Kris Bryant, a contemporary romance writer for Bold Strokes Books. And this week, I'm recommending a recently released sapphic romance.
Kris, it's been a month since we've talked. Not since people heard our voices.
Right,
For people who haven't listened yet, go listen to the conversation that we had with Salem West and John Copenhaver. They did something really, really awesome with the anthology they released of like queer crime fiction. And I think we had it was a really good, interesting conversation just about the idea that like we can't have self-censorship within a writing community.
Agreed.
So let's do our own thing. But I missed your phrase. How's your month been?
We're burning in hell down here. I'm trying to stay afloat and everything is burning and my whole body hurts.
Okay, so you're doing great.
I'm doing great. Like everybody is on edge at work.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets so frustrated so easily. And it's just terrible. Like it's just a terrible time right now. I'm hoping things perk up. It was funny. I was driving home and Sarah McLachlan has a new song out called Rise.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I haven't heard this song. What is this? And then I'm trying to read my screen, but I can't because I need my readers. So I'm trying to squint. I know it's Sarah, but what's this song? I've never heard this song before. And it's trying to, we all need to love each other. Let's come together and do good things. And we just need to all be on the same page. And I'm like, yeah, where were you 6 months ago when we needed you? It's one of those, it might be too late type thing, but.
Well, maybe she's singing. Is she still Canadian? Maybe she's singing it for us.
That could be, since you are a little bit behind, but still kind of going in the same path.
I mean, I truly am in Canada's Texas.
Oh, that's true. I would like to say that I know we weren't going to do this, but I'm going to bring it up and we can delete it if we need to.
Okay.
So Sarah's going to be on Jimmy Kimmel tonight.
So just for people who are listening, we're recording this on September 23rd. And I mean, this is the day that Jimmy Kimmel was supposed to be back on. I'm very curious to see how it goes. You're right. It's been a wild time.
Right. So he got, they dropped his show 6 days ago. Disney did. Mm-hmm. And so the funny thing about the whole Sarah McLachlan thing is that she was supposed to do something for Disney. And she backed out because it
was for a Lilith Fair documentary, wasn't it?
I don't know. I just heard this when I came home. I was like, what?
I think if I'm recalling correctly, it was, I think it's Hulu, maybe. They're putting out a documentary about Lilith Fair, and she was obviously a huge part of that.
So was I.
And so she was supposed to do a large, I know, I saw the photos of you on stage with Sarah McLachlan. But
I thought so. All right, good.
And yeah, she's like, nope, not doing that. I have to say, I know the Kimmel thing was bad. And I had a friend reach out and he's like questioning, why do we care about this when there are worse things happening in the world? And I was like, my guy, this is a big deal. And it was when he was returned, when Disney put out the announcement they would bring him back. It's like, why do we care about this and not this? And I was like, this showed that people have power.
Yes.
Disney reversed course. Because people came together for an incredible boycott that cost them billions of dollars.
A lot of money, yes.
And I think people need to see that together they have power. That when you vote with your dollar or when you do those kinds of things. And so I'm definitely going to be checking out, going to YouTube to see what he has to say. And I never look up stuff to do with Kimmel. I did look up. Did you see when Jon Stewart was on The Daily Show on Thursday?
I did not, but I love Jon Stewart. I have for years, decades.
So he usually does Mondays. And then the announcement about Kimmel getting wow, that's not a word. taken off the air. I read about how he was coming in on Thursday and I saw that he was going to interview Maria Ressa and I really wanted to check that out. Maria Ressa is a Nobel Prize winner. She wrote a book called How to Stand Up to a Dictator. It's an excellent book. I listened to it. I think you can listen to it on Spotify. Like if you don't have a library account or don't want to pay for it, she reads it herself.
Nice.
But she was one of the co-founders of Rappler Media in the Philippines. She was kind of like, born and raised Philippines, spent some time being raised in the United States as well, went to university in the United States, and then became she worked for CNN and then ended up creating her own media company. But when Duterte, when his regime was in place in Philippines, there were like 11 warrants for her arrest and she went to prison. She was imprisoned by the regime of a dictator. So Jon Stewart having her on, I'm like, oh shit, that's a notable moment. I want to check that out. So the next morning I grab my phone, and I've been trying really hard lately. Don't look at my phone first thing when I wake up, because I know it's bad for your nervous system. So I've actually been reading books when I first wake up. But that day I was like, I'm going to YouTube. I'm going to see him talking to Maria Ressa. And what it recommended instead was the opening segment. And I watched that and I laughed until I was weeping. It was so good. And so I think if anybody wants a laugh, I mean, who knows what's going to happen between now and when this episode goes up in a week, but it was so good. It was so good. It was so funny. And then I checked out the interview later, and it was very, very good. It was very thoughtful and I think important.
Good.
So yeah. Well, you're going to have to watch Sarah McLachlan later.
Either that or I'm going to have to record it. It has been a long ass week.
Mm-hmm. And it's only
Tuesday night. I know. Whew, I tell you, at work, like I said, everybody's on edge, and I'm like, I'm egging them on, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, let me go in and mediate this for you. But there's a part of me that's like, let's just find peace, and then there's a part of me that's like, do what you want because
chaos reigns.
Yeah. Because I did that. So I can't really tell people, oh, you shouldn't do that. But I want them to know that I have their backs and I support their decision, whatever they want to, but also think about it
before they go in with heated feelings.
Right. Before they go in with heated feelings. Yes. So I try to talk them down, because sometimes that's just the best idea. People need jobs.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in the world right now who are just walking around with their nervous systems fully dysregulated.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like a lot of people who are not their best selves.
I know for sure I'm not. That's why I haven't been writing. Like, nope, can't do it. Trying.
Yeah.
Not trying too hard, but I'm also enjoying the time where, like, when I come home from work, I do things that I want to do. I don't have the news on. I don't have to hear it in the office. When I come home, it's just quiet. I can just snuggle with the kitties and turn on Jeopardy and the Great British Baking Show and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. So let's say what's been good since we last spoke?
Since we last spoke, I went to the lake with KB Draper. I had a great time. It was very nice because even if I wanted to plug in, they don't have internet.
Nice.
So it's kind of like, well, I guess I'm just going to enjoy nature and walk the dogs and play games and like drink alcohol and just have fun. It was a great time. So we picked up some driftwood. I guess everybody's now like into like turning wood and making pens and bowls and stuff. And so that's not me, but I was there for the ride and picking up wood. Will this work? Will this work? Will this work? So that was me.
Yeah.
So
highly supportive.
Exactly. And let's see what else. My football team is sucking right now, which means that my fantasy football teams are just as bad. So I'm in 3 leagues and I have an 0-3 record in 2 of them, which is bad.
I guess it can't be your year every year.
It should be my year every year.
I know, especially this year. Come on.
I know. So I win 1 fantasy football last year. I made one league the very first time. No, it wasn't the first time. I'm sorry. It was the second time. And I won. And I think I'm the best thing ever. I know everything about football. Put me in your leagues. And so people are like, hey, you want to be in a league? Sure. Because I'm great. No, I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible. Like everybody got hurt. I have people who just did terrible. I was just bad. So football is going out of my life. And then, I just got the schedule for Women's Week in Provincetown.
Oh, awesome. That's exciting. What's going on? What's happening?
It's a little bit different this year. I'm not quite sure how many people there, how many authors are there, but we're going to be bouncing around town, which normally we had it at one place. But, last year, I think I told you this, we did the town hall, and it was really cool because the town hall was open and there were all these tables around. And then every single person who was selling, all the writers and different publishing houses, they all just had tables and they sold their books. And so you could just walk around the whole place and buy, indie authors and like Bella and Bywater and Boltsterk's books. And it was very cool because a lot of the authors got to talk to readers and got to encourage them to buy their books. And it was just a very positive experience. And they had open mic. And so you can just go up to the open mic and read from your book. And it's really cool. I really liked it. So they're doing it again this year, just the regular, there's the meet and greet at Harbor Lounge. We have reading panels. We have Q&A panels. So it's a more relaxed vibe, I think, this year.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm always excited about P-Town. And that we're getting there so early. So,
oh, really?
I'm flying to Chicago to pick up Christina Rivers, and then we're going to go fly into Providence, Rhode Island. Then we're going to stay the night in Providence, and then we're going to drive over to P-Town in the morning. And we were trying to do this to save money because flights are just unbelievably expensive anymore. So we're trying to come up with ways to save money. And so that's what we came up with. So I'm going to be gone for like 8 days. I'm going to forget where I live. I am going to be gone. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's my news. That's my news.
That's pretty good. Well, sadly, I don't have news. I think that's just what happens when I think when you have kids in school, it's just, I don't know, my kids have been in school and they haven't been as sick as often as I would have expected. So that's nice.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're doing good. School's going well.
I'm glad. Yeah. Love it. Do they love school?
No.
Really? Come on.
No.
Why not?
Honestly, I think school just seems so different now from when we grew up. I think COVID really changed a lot, and especially for the kids who went through COVID at the time, which my oldest did. But also, it was like seeing my kids go through it. I didn't really question anything when I was in school because I was basically like, if somebody told me to do something, I would just do what I was told.
Yep.
Which now as an adult, it's like, neurodivergent. But also seeing my kids who are also neurodivergent, I think school isn't really made for kids like mine, unfortunately. And so, we're finding our ways. Like one of them does school in person, one of them does school online, and like the online schooling thing was a big switch. But it's been really, really good. And the thing that's cool about how they do it here, it's through the school board. Like it's a real school. It just happens to be online. It's following the same curriculum as all the other kids in that grade. But they do in person 1 day a week for gym and I think sometimes art and like other stuff, whatever. And then they'll have like one drop in, like want to come hang out at the playground one afternoon a week or something like that. And
that's cool.
My kids already made like real friends in class by switching to that. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm in that stage of life that's like, oh, I do work and my kids do school and then we hang out and then we don't do a lot. I saw the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
A while back. That was good because I never go to the movies. So for me, I guess it's a big deal.
Oh, so it's a treat.
It was really good.
And I think crush. I'm sorry.
Who is your first crush?
Well, it's an actress who is in that movie. And I think I want to say I mentioned that last time. Remember I saw like a snippet of her and I looked her up. I was like, oh my gosh, she was in this movie. Sorry. You said it and I went backwards in time.
I don't think I remember that.
That's all right. We've slept since then several times since our last podcast.
That's true. That's true. What is time? Right. Who knows? All right. What have you been watching or reading?
Okay. So Daryl Dixon, not my stray cat, but
I was going to say your cat.
Right. But the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, he's back. So I'm watching that story. It's Daryl and Carol. Terrible. But anyway.
No.
He's finally out of France. They are finally out of France. They get in a boat and the boat crashes. Now they're in Spain. It's the same thing. The same it's a different country, same stupid problems is what's happening. But
okay.
I'm a loyalist and I'm watching it every week.
Yes, you are.
You know, I just want them to get back. They just want to get back to the United States.
Yes.
Because the apocalypse is everywhere and you might as well be home with your family. So hopefully this is the season they get to go back home and see everybody, and everybody's older and we can move on and feel better. And anyway, so that I also started watching, and I'm in the second season of The Lazarus Project, and I absolutely love it. I love it. So it's a series about time travel-ish, sort of. Work with me. It's like a secret sort of government agency that incorporates all the countries. And this project manages to keep the world and humanity from destroying itself. Okay, so work with me here. Okay. So if something catastrophic happens, they can reset it to the last checkpoint. They can reset everything.
It's like how I play video games.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and this happens on July 1st every year. So basically, if there's like a nuclear war, nuclear attack, they just reset it back to July 1st. If there's an attack like on May 12th, the following year, it just goes back to July 1st.
Okay.
There are people who, most of the people are given a shot so that they can participate in this project, so that they have the ability to remember, have their memories, and know what happened and try to resolve it. So they spend that year or the time up to that to change the history until the world doesn't, you know, people don't, humanity doesn't kill itself. Yeah. So that's interesting. But what's even better is that there are two people who actually have that mutation in their own genes. Like they have this ability that other people need shot, so they have it naturally. And it's, you have to actually be 100% committed to watch this and understand it. Like you cannot look away, you cannot play games, you cannot write a book, you have to pay attention. Do not have anything. Like you have to be 100% sober and watch it. And it's actually very interesting and I really enjoy it. And I'm right on the cusp of like, if I like tap out now, like I'm just hanging on because it is so interesting and it's fascinating and I love it. But I know that if I don't stay with it, it'll overwhelm me is what it is. I'm like right there where I'm staying up with it. I think the concept's amazing. Like what a great concept. Cool. Yeah. And they have to, like, you can't just go back in time because something happens to you or your loved one. You can't do it. Just, let's reset it because, you know, my person died. You can't do that. There has to be an event. And so if it doesn't reset, the new checkpoint is July 1st the next year or that year.
Okay. So it has to impact like a certain percentage of people.
Right. Like there was it started, I didn't say it, that's not true. It didn't start with COVID, but that was one of the things. And so it's that. It could be anything. It could be a virus, it could be nuclear war, it could be like, those are the two big ones. And it like took them like 16 years to figure out how to not get into a nuclear war, these two countries to get into a nuclear war.
Damn.
It took them 16 years to figure it out. So it always reset. It went back until they finally figured out the way to make it happen, to change the events of history to where that didn't happen. So it's really a very, very cool concept of a show. And I know that there's a movie and it came out a while ago and I'm sure it has kind of the same concept, but I really enjoy the series a lot. I like it. I probably have maybe 3 or 4 episodes left of the second season. Nice. But since I was gone this weekend, like I have forgotten everything. So I need to go back to it. Yeah. And then the last thing is I received an early copy of the latest Luke Dreamer book, They Came From Below. And just in time for Halloween because it's a horror comedy.
Very fun.
Yeah. And so it sounds fun. It piqued my interest. So I'm going to give that a shot next and I will report back.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, that is what I have been reading and watching. What about you? What's going on with you?
Okay. Well, I mean, it has been a month. So yes. I read a whole bunch of fanfic. I'm not going to bother talking too much about that, but that seems to be what happens. Like if for whatever reason we have a break in recording or like we record ahead or we have an episode like the last one, it's like, well, let's go read a couple 100,000 pages of fanfic, because why not? But I've started playing, I'm like over 50 hours into a video game on my Nintendo. It's called Wildflowers, spelled Wylde. The lead character's name is Tara. I didn't even choose it. That's just her name. Her name is Tara Wilde. And she moves to this little town where her grandmother lives, and it turns out that her grandmother is in a coven of witches.
Oh.
And you become a part of the coven too. There's some kind of mystery to it. It's sort of like if you like Stardew Valley, this is a good one to pick. The art style is different. There is like more of an involved story. It's fully voice acted, and the voice acting is really good. The graphics are more sophisticated than what you see in Stardew Valley. But there is like, there's mining, and there's crop stuff, and you go make friends with everybody. And it's super hella gay if you want it to be. Like, the town hall has a little rainbow flag there.
Aww.
And you can date men, you can date women. There's a non-binary character that you can date. One of the men you can date is a werewolf, which is a little odd, but yeah, it's really cozy, and it's easy to pick up and put down. I've really been enjoying it. I'm going to keep playing. And then I read a few books. I mean, I read more books than this, but I'm only going to talk about these 3 because I realized as I was pulling together the notes and thinking about which books I wanted to talk about in this episode, I was like, hang on a minute. Who is the publisher? And it turns out that all 3 of these books are Harlequin, if you can friggin' believe it.
Wow.
Which I think is awesome. And I want them to keep doing it. And I went to their website and I looked at their section for LGBTQ, and I looked and realized, oh, there are some books in the last couple of years that I've been recommending that were from Harlequin. So when I talked about, the Blue Stockings Guide to Decadence and others that I can't immediately remember. Shit. There was one from Chensia C. Higgins. That one with the 2 best friends where it was like, do you remember the one I was talking about? There was these 2 best friends, and it's like so messy. It was like the messiest friends to lovers, but it was like messy in the best way. That's one of theirs as well.
Mm.
I wish I had a memory for titles.
I wish I did too.
It's okay. Let's not worry about it. So I'm going to start with The Secret Crush Book Club by Carmen Lee, which I think that is such a fabulous title.
Secret Crush Book Club.
The Secret Crush Book Club. And I think the cover is really good too, which obviously this isn't great for, a podcast, but like, check out Chris Bryant. Look at this image. How friggin' cute is this?
Oh, that is cute.
Like, it's such a good cover, and it actually does look like them. So
nice.
Yeah, I had fun with this one. So what's interesting is this book. So it has Danny, she's a single mom. I think her son is about 10 or 11, maybe. She lives in a multi-generational house situation because like it's her and her son, but her dad is there too. And I think one of her sisters also lives there. And her sister says she's moving out of the house, and she's just like wondering, she's divorced. Is there something, kind of missing? And then Zoe is new to town. She's working at the library, and she and Danny kind of have a crush on each other. The thing that I find interesting that the blurb doesn't really cover quite as much. So Zoe is an author. And so she has a few books out that are very popular, but like she wanted this like contract gig as a librarian in a small town because she wanted to learn more about small town life for a book that she's writing.
Oh.
So they have this like crush on each other, and Danny doesn't know that Zoe is one of her favorite authors. And they end up in a book club together. And it's just hilarious. Like, right? So it's very cute. It's pretty, like, it's quite hot. And I had no idea this was from Harlequin because it's from Afterglow Books, which is one of their imprints. It's like their spicier imprint.
Ooh.
So the sex scenes are more explicit than what you would expect from Harlequin.
Right.
This is the 3rd book that takes place in Peach Blossom. because the other two books has Danny's two sisters falling in love.
Oh.
So that's the relationship mechanic in the 7-10 split. So, you know, it's a small town romance. The family dynamic is very strong. I thought it was pretty sweet overall. I enjoyed this one. I had a really good time with it. And then I read The Fortune Hunter's Guide to Love by Emma Claire Sunday. And so she's the one that wrote The Duke's Sister and I, which I recommended in episode 93. And honestly, we're getting into weird territory where I could have really recommended any of these books as an official recommendation, but I have to pick one. It really came down to, hey, if I put them all together here, I have a theme of what I've been reading. This book I really, really enjoyed. And so it starts with Sylvia. I'm trying to remember what her dad was, if he was like a duke or a lord, or I don't know. I can't remember that part. I can't remember what his title was. But her dad dies and there's nothing for like her mom or her sisters. And so they go from being a part of, you know, the big London rich people scene in the 1800s to their mom saying, well, we're going to move back to the small town that I lived in before your dad discovered me and we fell in love when we got married. And so these girls who were raised with extreme wealth and privilege have to get jobs and have to figure it out. They don't have beautiful gowns anymore. They don't have jewelry. They don't have anything. And Sylvia hates it. She's like, absolutely not. I don't want to live in this seaside town. Fuck all of this. She ends up getting a job working for a local farming family. And this family, they do a bunch of things. But one of the things is their daughter makes cheese and she's really, really good at it. And so they strike up this deal. And she's like, look, Hannah, you want to open a cheese shop. I want to marry a rich guy. And so I can get out of here, get back to my life with my friends in London. So how about you help me find a husband? I will pay for a cheese shop for you.
Okay.
With my husband's money. And so it's this like sort of trying to fake it till she makes it to back into wealth. But along the way, it turns out that like maybe hard work isn't the worst and maybe rich people are assholes. And
oh, yeah.
Hannah's really pretty actually. And she's nice to kiss. And so it's kind of this like, does she really go on does she keep trying to find a fortune? Or does she figure out that there's more to life than being part of the wealthy and not awesome crowd?
It's a love fortune.
It is. Honestly, I loved this book. It was so great. It's a Harlequin historical. It's very cute. It's very, very gentle book. So gentle. And again, I love these historicals where it's authors fiercely choosing to show very happily ever afters for queer people, which I think we need right now, especially right now where we need to see queer people have done it before and we'll do it again. And it's fine. And also come on, a cheese shop. Come on. Cheese shop aspirations. How fucking cute is that? Right?
Very, very. So yes. Love cheese.
Fortune Hunter's Guide to Love. So good. No cheese on the cover, but it's a beautiful book. And then the last one also, I got to say, this is the one, this book really surprised me. I knew it was a Harlequin going into it. It's called Her Fake Wedding Date in Sicily by Jenny Lane. So like very Harlequin title, right?
Yes.
And I grabbed this one because I used to read Harlequin contemporaries all the time back when I was in high school. And so when I saw it on NetGalley, I was like, hell yeah, I want to check out this book. And so the two leads are Eliza and Mia. So Mia is a hotel heiress. So think, like Paris Hilton-ish a long time ago. Mia's parents own the resort in Sicily where this wedding is going to take place. Her ex-girlfriend is her best friend's sister. So the best friend whose wedding she's standing in, of course, her ex is going to be there at the wedding. And she didn't want to be embarrassed. So she said, well, I have a +1 for this wedding. And she shows up with no +1 going, fuck. What am I going to do? Fuck. What am I going to do? Oh no. And so the groom's sister is also there. She is a CEO of this like mega media company, Eliza. She's very serious. She's very focused. Her dad is on her all the time because she took over. It was a family built company. And they somehow end up like through a misunderstanding, they fall into a fake dating situation because the bride is like, oh my God, Eliza's your girlfriend. This is amazing. Okay. Why don't you? So it sort of turns into this like, okay, we can pretend for a week, right? This solves a lot of problems for both of us, right? Right. And so, it's a week of like mega rich people, activities. And they, at first, Eliza thinks that Mia is just this party girl because that's the role that Mia's parents want her to play. It's helpful to have her in the media. Be the glamorous one. Don't be the serious one. But Mia has aspirations to do more and be more. She wants to run the film. Like she wants her family to create a foundation and then she wants to run their philanthropic efforts through a family foundation. And so what I really appreciated about this one was seeing like there was some big character stuff that happened in it. Like for Eliza to see that Mia, there's so much more to her than just like what was showing up in the tabloids before. And Eliza's a workaholic, but could there be more to life than 18-hour work days? And so, yeah, I grabbed it because I used to be into those. I enjoyed it so much. In a lot of ways, it reminded me of like, it's not unlike a lot of the other sapphic romances that we have out there. It just happens to come out from Harlequin, but it does have some of that Harlequin vibe because like the sex scenes are not descriptive, just like I remembered. So it was interesting to see, oh, that's still a thing. Okay, we know sex is happening right now and we don't know how or what's touching what, but that's okay. And also like billionaires have always been like a big part of Harlequin stories. And like, generally speaking, I don't like billionaires. I thought I couldn't read billionaire romances, but between this book and all the other Anna Stone books that I've been talking about reading recently.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Turns out I don't actually care as long as it's written in a way that's compelling and the characters are women. So nice. Yeah. So those are the three. And honestly, I really thought this one was going to be my official recommendation. And then I read the book that I'm going to recommend today.
Oh. So all right.
Speaking of recommendations.
Yes.
What's yours?
I'm ready. Okay. So my official recommendation is the latest book by Melissa Brayden. Can we skip to the good part?
I would like to skip to the good part. No, I'm kidding.
I love it.
Terrible joke.
So I'm going to read the blurb. It's actually a really long blurb. So it was like half a page. So I'll just kind of go over it. Let's see how far we get. Book clubs have never been so sexy. Ooh. Ella Baker is tired of being an afterthought in her own life. First, her fiancé dumps her 6 days before the wedding. Then her family jets off on a world tour without her. And just when she thinks it can't get worse, her longtime employer forgets to lay her off. That is, until now. It's time for a reinvention, starting with something totally out of character, joining a book club. Thank God for her best friend Rachel, who's always there with popcorn and wine. But when a kiss from a smart, gorgeous, and maddeningly, wow! I just can't say that word.
Maddeningly.
Yes.
I did it
maddeningly.
for you.
Thank you. Irresistible book club member leaves Ella breathless. She's stunned to learn the woman who just turned her world upside down is the very ex who broke Rachel's heart.
That horrible
her
person.
Friend. I know. So Max Weiler doesn't believe in forever. As a divorce mediator, she's built a career on helping people walk away. The book club is just an escape until new member Ella arrives, blah, 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 blah. There's just one problem. Ella's best friend is Max's worst mistake, which means those pretty blue eyes completely off limits. Or at least they should be.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. So this is Melissa's first book as an indie writer.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool because she had, almost 30 books with Bold Strokes?
With Bold Strokes, right. Exactly. And so this is her first release as an indie author.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she amped up the sexy times in this book.
Oh, 100%. I finished reading it today.
You did.
What's funny, listening to you read the blurb, I realized I either didn't read it at all or I skimmed and like skipped the entire beginning because I didn't know about her parents taking off. I didn't know about the feeling
really?
like an afterthought.
Oh
yeah. So I went into the book like pretty clean. I just knew that there was a situation around falling for her best friend's ex.
Right.
That was the only thing.
That's good. So I like going into something like that. It's like a movie. I don't know what it's about. And I'll just like sit down and just like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Yes.
So you know how I'm all about relationships. Like that is my thing.
Yep.
I am a strong person on relationships. You know, what happens is her best friend says, you know, look, your life is shit right now. Why don't you leave Oklahoma? I think it's Tulsa, Oklahoma. She lives in Tulsa.
Yep.
And come move in with me in Everly Springs, Virginia, which is a pretty far way to go. Yeah. So she's like, okay, because she doesn't have a job. Her parents are off over in Europe and they're there for as long as they want. And so she really doesn't have anything holding her back. So she's like, okay, sure. So she goes to Virginia and she goes into a bookstore and finds out that there is a book club. And there's a book club. I'm stalling because I have to look at this thing. Read It and Weep is what the book club is called.
Yeah.
So she signs up and she goes because she needs friends. And she's like, let's do this. And it happens to be a sapphic book club. So yay. So she's like, hey, I fit right in. I just got dumped. And everybody's like, oh, good. She's one of us, blah, blah, blah. So it's really cute.
Yeah.
The bad news is that, you know, is it bad news? Is it good news? One of the members of the book club, she can't keep her eyes off of her. Like they are just like heating it up from across the room. And she's nervous, but she can't stop looking at her. And the chemistry, everybody's noticing their chemistry. And this person goes by M. Like M. Like, yay, hey, this is M. And so she's super excited and she races off and she tells Rachel, oh my gosh, I met this most amazing woman. Her name is M, blah, blah, blah.
Best kiss of my life.
Best kiss.
I'm a different
Everything
person.
Is perfect. Yes, it's changed me completely. And then it turns out that M is really short for Max. They just call her M. So yeah, so that happens. I think a lot of the readers will see themselves in Ella.
Tell me more.
I think so. Okay, because she kind of is a people pleaser in a way. I think a lot of people are people pleasers. I think more so than the other way, leaders.
Yeah,
there's always more followers than leaders, but not in a bad. She just wants to make everybody happy, and she wants to be happy. So that's her goal in life, and she has a really great heart, a really big heart, and I really appreciate that about her. And she just wants to be loved and to feel needed. And she's just not getting that. You know, her family can't seem to find the time for her. And you and I talked about this before we started recording about at the very beginning, like the very first scene in the book is hilarious.
My God. I cracked up. The very first scene is so good. And I feel like it's actually fair enough to talk about because the blurb directly references it.
That's true.
The book opens with she's working from home that day and she's pulled into a call with her boss in HR. And they're laying her off. And she said, but I thought layoffs were last week. And it turned out that they forgot. And the way she reacts to some of that, and there's this one particular, I'm not going to describe the part that actually cracked me up, but like it just was so unexpected. And I think what I appreciated was, as much as I agree with you, I do think that she is kind of a people pleaser. She does stand up for herself sometimes, though.
She does.
She does it in that scene. I really loved how she stood up for herself in that scene. She does it with Max sometimes. But there is kind of that, I think it is harder sometimes when it's your family. I think that can that can make it more difficult when you're with people that you feel like you shouldn't have to do that with. And it was really interesting to see, maybe more than people pleasing, I would say almost more like she really deals with some doubt around her self-worth.
That's what I had. Self-worth. Yeah. Like her self-worth has sank. Like it really has, you know, because everyone seems to forget about her and the important people in her life do too. And the only person who doesn't is Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel's the only one that like is her ride or die, picks her up by the bootstraps and says, come out here. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, we've done this before. This is what we do. We help each other out. Like she helped her out. Ella helped Rachel out when she had her breakup with Max, didn't
Yes.
realize that Max and M were the same person. So, you know, see, Max is the kind of person, Max is the beacon of light, like a lot of us gravitate toward, kind of like
well,
Melissa.
She exudes confidence.
Oh, for sure. Like Melissa Brayden compared her to like Bet from L Word. Like we were all in on with Bet.
Well, yeah, that's a cute part in the book is there is a character who compares her directly to Bet, and I don't want to say who it is because when you get to that moment, that's a pretty great moment.
Yeah.
Specifically
and
because
I
of
can
who
see that
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see that. Yes. So, you know, they decide like once they find out pretty early on that this is the person who hurt Rachel. And so Ella's like, nope, can't do this. Sorry, can't do this. But we can be friends. We can try to be friends. I love this book club. I still want to be a part of it. But like, they just can't stop this relationship from happening. I mean, it is intense.
Their chemistry is too good for that. It's
right.
They have really good chemistry.
They really do. And, you know, and it's all about communication and so many people fail at it. You know, if not, we would all be in the very first relationship we ever had. I mean, let's be real. Like communication, we suck at communication as a whole. So I get it. Like, I understand like how Max is like very direct and to the point. And that's part of her job. It's also part of how she was raised.
Yes.
Because Max also has, you know, her family. She has to deal with a lot from her family too. So there's a lot going on outside that have really developed these two characters. And so them trying to get together, that's what this is all about, like most romances.
Yeah.
You know, just the relationship and how you treat people and what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say and regrets and how to make it right is very, very difficult to do in relationships. But communication, perfect. I mean, Melissa Brayden does great at dialogue and communication. And it was just a really enjoyable book, you know, and I think if you haven't read her, this is a good book to start with. I think it's a good introduction. It's a very smooth book, you know. There's the angst level. Yes, there is angst, obviously, but I mean, it's a book club. It's kind of like a small town starting over. It's it's not an overwhelming book. And it's just, you finish it and you're just kind of smiling like, oh, that was really sweet. I really liked that. So that's what I think. So here's something I want to talk about. Like, first of all, sign me up for that book club because we have those book clubs in Kansas City, but like they read mainstream books, which is great because we do too, but also it'd be nice to give a little shout out to the indies and the small press. That would be nice. So, but I haven't joined a book club here, but I wish you know, we have the online ones, but I think it would be so cool to have it in person.
Which
I'd like to do that.
If people are looking for an online one, don't forget Sapphic World Book Club. They're doing good stuff.
They really are. So, fun fact, this is something I found out. Melissa Brayden has a Patreon. And one of the things she posted there was she wanted help on the title. She had this one picked out, I'm sorry. And let me go back to it before I say it wrong, because I always want to say the first word wrong. Can we skip to the good part? She had that as one option. And the other option was paging Max Weiler.
We ended up with the right one. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you,
100%. Yes. Thank you, patrons. And thank you, Melissa, for that one. Because I think it's an adorable name.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love the book.
Well,
I love it.
And I think, too, like it fits so well because with it being set in a book club, there's a lot of like, we actually see, there's one scene in particular where we actually see the book club conversation about the book. And then the whole idea of books and stories and narratives and happy endings and all of that is a major element of this. So it's almost like it's kind of meta in a way because it is a romance, but it's also talks about the construction of romance novels. And what was fun was in that first conversation, they were talking about a book by Parker Bristow, who is one of the leads in another book of hers, I think from Back to September. I highlighted at one point, more as a reminder to myself, oh, wait, hang on. They're talking about how books are constructed. And it's like, is this what's happening with this book? And so one of the people in the book club, Olive, talked about, she says, you know what I found fascinating? The secondary characters. We never really went home with any of them or heard their internal thoughts, but the author offered us glimpses of their own parallel stories running behind the scenes. They just had real lives, I could tell. And it's like, that is exactly what happens in this book. Mm-hmm. And so I thought there was some really fun... The way they interrogate that book gives you a sense of some of what you're going to get from this book. And I thought that was a really cool and clever way to, I don't think I've seen that kind of thing very often. And I liked it.
Yeah, it worked. I really enjoyed this book, and I feel like our readers, our listeners will as well.
Okay. I also highlighted one other line because it made me burst out laughing. So Ella insists on driving Max home. I think from book club, because Max had a couple of drinks.
Okay.
And she's like, well, no, I'll take an Uber. And Ella's like really insisting. And she says, I'm about to save you $20 in small talk with a stranger who may or may not smell like peppermint Fritos. And it was just the idea of peppermint Fritos. I was like,
yeah,
right?
True.
So evocative, so accurate.
Yes, it has very good, very clever lines in this book.
Yeah,
for sure. So I recommend that. So what about you? What is your official recommendation?
All right. My official recommendation is One Weekend in Tahoe by Jamie Clevenger. It's their latest book out from Bella Books. It's an erotic romance. And it shows one of the side characters from One Weekend in Aspen as she falls in love. And honestly, you don't have to have read that because I didn't. And I didn't really know. I read the blurb. This was one of those times where I read the blurb and I was like, I'm so intrigued about how this goes. Also, I feel like the blurb left out some things that are important and interesting and tropey and that people would want to know. So I'm doing my own blurb.
Okay.
So Parker Reinhardt is one of the leads. Her best friend talks to her like, come on, come out to the club. You never go out. Let's go do this. And so she shows up, but she doesn't expect anything to come of it. She had a breakup 9 months prior. She's still kind of like, ew, gross. No relationships, don't want them. But she really hits it off with this woman who just like looks really cool and is in like a Nirvana t-shirt. And this woman is like, look, you, Parker, you don't look like somebody who fucks on the first date. And Parker's like, but what if I was? And so they have a one night stand. So it's a one night to forever, which is the part that's not in the blurb. But I think it's important because some people really like one night to forever stories. And Madison says like, look, I don't live here because Parker lives, I forget where, but in Arizona. I forget which city or town in Arizona. And so Madison's like, I don't live here. My flight leaves very early tomorrow morning and I will not give you my phone number. These are my conditions. Take it or leave it. And Parker takes it. Okay. And they have a great night. But Parker also, in addition to, you know, is an accountant and I believe has like her own business as an accountant. She also, that friend who invited her out has a queer youth center in this like town in Arizona. And it's really, so her friend is a trans woman and is very like, we need to give the young queer people a place to have community. We need a place for them to be, but they're financially not okay because their CFO before was a moron. And so Parker is really trying to help. And so there's a fundraiser in town for the Dumont Family Foundation. Parker's friend can't go and says, that's fine. I'll go on my own. Do you know how to fundraise and do networking? Not really, but I'm willing to try because I don't want my friend's nonprofit to fold. And like Parker is the fucking sweetest, is so the most adorable, lovely masked character I've read in a long time. I just want to hug her. She's so lovely. You know, it does the uncomfortable thing, shows up at the fundraiser and is like, oh, Madison, you're here. This is amazing. They run into each other like, oh my God, how can this be? And then Parker is shocked all over again when Madison takes the microphone at the event because she's Madison Dumont of the Dumont family.
Wow.
She runs their charitable initiatives. Madison, meanwhile, her mom is not awesome. And is there at the event, and her mom's like, Catherine's coming here. And she's like, I'm sorry, she's what? Because Catherine is Madison's ex-girlfriend. She wants nothing to do with. It's been a couple of years, but it ended badly. And for people who read that other book that I mentioned a little while ago, they'll know why This is a big deal for Madison. I didn't. Doesn't matter. Again, you don't have to have read. You don't have to have read
enjoy it. Right.
But Madison just really wants to get her mom off her back. And so she's like, oh, sorry, I have a girlfriend. She's over there. Her name is Parker. Isn't she lovely? You know, they have chemistry. She'll beg for forgiveness later. And so, yeah, they're kind of fake dating. And to thank her, because Parker grew up in Tahoe, she's like, come hang out with me at my place in Tahoe. Like, we can just be friends and that'll be cool. Let's be friends in Tahoe.
That works. Right.
That always works. We're not gonna bang. Yeah, they are. And Madison's friends are there and they're going to have a sex party. And they're like, come to the sex party. She's like, I'm done with sex parties. And they're like, well, come for dinner prior to the sex party. And so the fake dating basically continues all the way in Tahoe, one weekend in Tahoe, skiing and a sex party. I picked up this book because I read the blurb and I was like, how? What? An erotic romance in the world of philanthropy?
Sure.
How does that work? What does that mean? And somehow I totally missed when One Week in Aspen came out. And I wonder if that was when, you know, like that year that I read almost nothing. I'm wondering if it was that year. So like, I wasn't even aware that this book existed. So all I knew going into it was, okay, Madison's family is rich. And from their first encounter, I was really intrigued. Their chemistry is so good.
I love that. I love good chemistry.
The chemistry is fabulous, but also, so it's written in the third person, but it shifts between Parker and Madison's perspectives. And so all Parker knows is that their chemistry is fabulous. And then when we shift to Madison, we see she is baffled by how good their chemistry is. Because her walls are up so high and she has been through something, and it takes a while for us to find out what it is, but she's been through something quite traumatic that meant that she went from having like a very healthy sexual appetite and like a lot of partners and all that to she hasn't slept with anybody in a while. And so the fact that she's able to sleep with Parker on that first time, it was this like very big deal. But it was like, okay, maybe I'm okay. And then they run into each other again. And then they're fake dating. So Parker doesn't know anything except like, she is so hot and that's the best sex I've ever had. Wow, what a gift to me in my life that this is something that even happened. Honestly, like once I picked this book up, it was really hard to put down. You know, it did a good job of bringing enough tension. Madison has a long way to go. She has a big journey. Parker doesn't really have as much of a journey, and I don't mind that. I would prefer one really excellent character arc to two just okay character arcs. In this case, I just think it was so well done. And it doesn't have the third act breakup.
Yay.
I liked it. It really worked. It made sense that it didn't, because instead it's more of a question of, can she even commit to a relationship at all? That question is so big and treated with so much respect that I don't think it didn't need a third act breakup, you know, to bring in extra tension. So I think that worked really well. The other thing that I really appreciated about this book, and I think was something that we need right now, like I go back to that SAS panel, that first SAS panel that Lynn Ames moderated, and she asked a question. So for people that aren't sure, if you haven't been checking out recent episodes, SAS, what does that stand for again? I'm so sorry.
Sapphic Action Support Squad.
That's right. And in the inaugural edition of in the first edition of the newsletter, Lynn Ames led a panel. I was on it and some authors were on it. And she asked a question around like, the world is bleak. How much of the world are you bringing into your books at this point? And I don't know that anybody had a lot of like clear answers, but that's been in the back of my mind since that conversation happened. And I'm starting to see it show up in certain books. And I think this book did a really good job of it. Like it brings in a little bit of it, but not too much. Kind of similar to the E.J. Noyes book that I recommended a couple of episodes ago where, you know, it had a character with a family that was homophobic and it was very realistic, but also handled very well. So in this case, what we see is, you know, like, especially around the fundraising for this queer youth organization and the fact that it exists in Arizona, and Arizona is a tricky state. It is a battleground state in the US, especially for people who are not American that are listening and aren't familiar. It can be quite conservative.
Right.
Parker is trying to do fundraising and accounting work for her friend's nonprofit, and like going to the Dumont Foundation's event, being told like, it's a lot of conservative people here, right? And there was a question later on, like when they're in Tahoe, one of Madison's friends is like quite prickly and is kind of a bit of a jerk, saying like why would anybody who's queer stay in a red state anyway? And so Parker starts talking about her friend being a trans woman and she's running this queer youth center. And she said, I've been helping out and it made me realize queer community is needed everywhere. And she said a thing where she's like, and also conservative people have queer kids too.
Right.
I thought that was handled really well. Like it brought in a dose of reality around some of like how, for example, how much harder it can be to do fundraising for queer nonprofits right now, because that is a thing that's true. But I also appreciated that it wasn't a direct threat on the main relationship. So it still got to be very satisfying as a romance, but still also grounded in the world that we're in right now. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's called One Weekend in Tahoe. So many tropes. It has the fake relationship. It has a wealth gap. It has the one night to forever. Also, it's an erotic romance that's really sweet. So I think, if any of that sounds appealing, I totally enjoyed it. And I would happily read more books set in this world. I need to go back and read the other one, but like there are other characters. I would happily read more about these people. So yeah, that's it. That's my recommendation.
Yay.
That is all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show and you haven't subscribed yet on your podcast app, please do. Or if you have a friend that you think would want to hear about any of the things we've talked about, share the episode with them. If you want to support us, we have links in our show notes for our coffee.
Or if you want to connect with us on your favorite social media sites, we have links in the show notes for that as well. Or you can just email us at podcast@queerlyrecommended.com, or just search for Queerly Recommended on all the social media sites, because we're there. We're everywhere.
The only site we're not doing anything on anymore is Twitter, because
fuck that.
Fuck
that.
Fuck that site. And on that note, goodbye everyone.